national prohibition, what we usually think of as prohibition, is 1920 to 1933. That's when the 18th Amendment to the Constitution was in effect and banning intoxicating beverages. But Clay County had already been dry for 5 years before that. Cascade, all of North Dakota was under alcohol prohibition for since 1890. Clay County, liquor was still outlawed for 4 or 5 years after national prohibition was repealed. We were dry, technically, legally dry until 1937. But legally dry and being actually dry are different things. We had a very wet prohibition, so what in the prohibition section of the exhibit, we kind of we organize it, I guess, by crime, looking at the alcohol distribution network, the illegal alcohol distribution network around Clay County. We talk about the rum runners who are bringing alcohol into the area and out of the area. We talk about the warehousers the farmers who rum runners are, paying farmers to rent out their barns or their outbuildings to hide their shipments of liquor. We talk about moonshiners making the alcohol. We talk about bootleggers who would be rather mobile, selling small amounts of alcohol that you could say hide in the leg of your boot, which is these half-pint Mickeys is where we get the word. This is where we get the word bootlegger, is hiding, being able to hide something on your person. This is a 1926 Ford Roadster that we were able to borrow from the exhibit for the exhibit. We don't know if it has any links to illegal alcohol sales, but we wanted to show the kind of car that you might use. We wanted to show, and we stuffed it full of alcohol tins, gallon alcohol tins. You watch movies. Moonshine is always carried in glass jars, but every instance that I come across in the newspapers around here, the alcohol is actually being transported in gallon-sized metal tins, like you'd get rubbing alcohol, mineral spirits or just rubbing alcohol in today. So yeah, you just stuff as much as you can in hidden compartments or in the trunk, and then just drive through the countryside from around here. A lot of times the Canadian border up to town. One of the big stories about prohibition where we live is we live very close to the Canadian border, where in Canada liquor is still legal to make and it's legal to import. So if Americans want Scotch whiskey from Scotland, you import it through Canada and smuggle it into the United States. So our rum runners were often the first, entrepreneurs, the first middlemen getting the alcohol to the gangsters in, say, Montana or Chicago or Kansas City or throughout the rest of the country.